The true story of Goliath and his brothers, explaining the most mysterious stories in the Bible. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to face the most fearsome giant in history? Goliath, the Philistine champion, was a towering figure, standing at nearly 10 feet tall. His massive size alone was intimidating, but add to that his heavy bronze armor, a spear with a tip as heavy as a large boulder, and a shield bearer walking in front of him. And you can imagine the fear he instilled in anyone who saw him. For 40 days he challenged the Israelites, daring them to send out a warrior to face him in a one-on-one battle. The stakes were simple. If Goliath won, the Israelites would serve the Philistines. If he lost, the Philistines would become their servants. Don't forget to watch the video till the end and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next amazing stories about giants in history and valuable lessons from the Bible. Can you picture the scene? Every day Goliath came forward, his presence like a storm cloud hanging over the Israeli camp, mocking and taunting them. Meanwhile, a young shepherd named David, too young to fight in the army, was at home tending his father's sheep. Unaware of the giant's challenge, David's only concern was bringing food to his brothers in the army. But when David arrived at the battlefield, he heard Goliath's taunts, loud and defiant, shaking the very earth beneath him. The Israelites ran in fear, their spirits crushed by the sight of the giant. But what did David do? He didn't hide. Instead, this young shepherd, armed only with his faith and a slingshot, stepped forward to face the impossible. His courage would not only change the course of a battle, but echo throughout history. What would you do in David's shoes? Would you run with the crowd or step up like the young shepherd who believed that courage and faith could conquer even the most intimidating foes? Picture this. David, a young shepherd, stands face to face with the towering giant Goliath. Goliath, armored head to toe, mocks the God of Israel, challenging anyone to step up and fight him. For 40 days, the Israelite army has been paralyzed by fear, but this is David's first encounter with the giant. In a moment of fiery courage, David demands, "What will be done for the man who defeats this Philistine and removes the disgrace from Israel?" He could not stand the insult to God's army. David wasn't a soldier, just a shepherd, armed with a sling and his unshakable faith. But when he recalls his victories over lions and bears protecting his flock, he knows that God who delivered him then will deliver him now. Saul, seeing David's unyielding resolve, reluctantly agrees, sending him into battle. Now imagine Goliath, towering over David, mocking him, calling him a mere boy. The Philistine thought David was a joke, but David wasn't afraid. Armed with only a sling and one stone, he charges forward, unwavering. The stone hits Goliath's forehead with such force that the giant collapses, dead. In a moment, the tides of battle shift. The Israelites, once trembling, rise with a shout, chasing the fleeing Philistines. David, not content with just a victory, takes Goliath's head to Jerusalem, a symbol of God's power over seemingly insurmountable odds. But this wasn't the end of the story. Goliath's brothers, towering warriors in their own right, would return to challenge Israel again. In one such battle, David himself nearly falls to another giant. But just as it seemed David's light might go out, his loyal warrior Abishai steps in, saving him from certain death. This isn't just a story about giants. It's about faith, courage, and standing firm in the face of impossible odds. Will you rise like David, armed with faith, to face your own giants? Or will you cower in fear like the armies around you? The choice is yours. In the aftermath of David's victory over Goliath, we cannot overlook the courage and loyalty of Abishai, who stepped in when David was in danger. Abishai's bravery and unwavering commitment to his leader helped secure David's safety, especially when the threat of the Philistines loomed large. Despite the urging of his men to avoid further direct confrontation with Absalom, David continued to face danger. But after narrowly escaping death, his warriors made a vow. The lamp of Israel, David, must be protected. And so Abishai became a hero, ensuring that David lived to fight another day. But the giants didn't stop there. Goliath's brothers, like Ishbi-benob and Lami, continued to challenge Israel. Lami, armed with a massive spear, was a force to be reckoned with. Yet even with such power, he was no match for God's support of David's men. The Bible reminds us that true strength doesn't come from size or weapons, but from the unwavering faith in God. The story of these giants and their defeat by David and his mighty men shows us a powerful lesson. Challenges in life will come again and again, but with faith, resilience, and the right support, we can overcome them. Just as David triumphed over Goliath and his brothers, we too can face life's giants, knowing that God stands with us. This battle was more than just a clash of physical strength. It was a testament to the divine intervention that guides us when we need it most. The power of faith, courage, and divine timing resonates through the pages of history, reminding us that no matter the giants we face, God is with us, and with Him, we are unstoppable. Are we ready to face the giants in our own lives with the same courage and faith as David? The choice is ours. The story of the Nephilim and the sons of God in Genesis 6 raises fascinating questions, questions that challenge our understanding of both the divine and the supernatural. How could giants be born from humans and spirits? It seems unbelievable, yet the Bible presents these mysterious figures as part of a much greater cosmic drama. In Genesis 6:6, we read that the Lord regretted, or repented in some translations, reflecting God's deep sorrow. The Hebrew word nakam expresses regret, a heavy sigh, perhaps even a sense of heartbreak. Why did God regret creating humanity? Was it because of the intermingling of godly and wicked lineages? Or was it the mixing of humanity with spiritual beings that led to such corruption? Many scholars argue that the latter is more likely. The sons of God in Genesis 6 have long been debated. Some believe they were fallen angels, while others see them as spiritual beings, demonic forces who mingled with human women. In either case, these unions produced the Nephilim, giants, mighty men of renown. The Bible doesn't explain how the Nephilim came to be, but it does link them to this union, suggesting that they were a direct result of this celestial rebellion. Why are the Nephilim mentioned alongside the sons of God in the daughters of men? The idea is strange to us today, but in biblical context, it highlights a reality far beyond what we typically understand. Could it be that these giants, descended from fallen angels, were not just physical giants, but symbols of the spiritual corruption that had taken hold of the earth? Even more compelling is the story of Noah, who found grace in the eyes of the Lord despite the wickedness of the world. While God's patience wore thin, He found one man worthy to carry on humanity: Noah. His faith didn't earn him grace, he simply found it. Through Noah, God preserved a remnant, sparing him and his family from the flood, ensuring that humanity could rebuild. Yet after the flood, giants continued to haunt the Israelites. The Nephilim were not gone. In fact, they were conquered in Canaan, and later in Israel's history, giants continued to challenge God's people. But each victory was a reminder: the power to overcome doesn't come from human strength or weapons, it comes from God. The Nephilim, the flood, Noah's Ark, they all point us to one truth: God's plan for redemption is greater than any obstacle, no matter how gigantic. These ancient stories invite us to ask, what lessons can we learn from this battle between the divine and the earthly? How can we face the giants in our own lives with faith, humility, and the grace of God? As we walk through life, let's allow the scriptures to light our path, to inspire us to face our own trials with courage, knowing that, like Noah, we too can find grace and redemption, no matter how big the giants are.